What's going on, guys? So this is TD Barrett and The Natural, and we are from Sports
Yo.
Gamers Online, and we are going to be giving you guys the 10 things you may not know about E3.
These are 10 things that are not in the brochure, people may not talk about, or you might not have even heard about.
Yes. So we spent, 3 full days there? So we learned a lot. So let's start with number 10 on the list, which is sports gaming is a very tiny part of E3.
Super tiny. I mean, I thought being a sports gaming site, we do other things, but we thought, EA is a huge company, 2K is a huge company that are going to have this huge presence, and really it was down to a few tiny booths for each of these, and really 2K didn't really show up at all when it came to basketball.
Yeah, when I walked in, I was initially expecting to have to wait in huge lines to be able to play Madden 16 and NBA Live and stuff. But really, nobody was even in those lines. Everyone was rushing to Star Wars, and that's EA too, but all those different games. And I was quite shocked by that.
EA had a huge area, massive area with huge TV screens, tons of games, and Madden. It had a sports section with Madden Live, FIFA, and it was very small compared to the other portions. And not to take away anything from Madden 16, it's a great game, but there really were not any lines at all for it. I mean, people were stumbling upon it, oh, this is the new Madden? Oh, okay, let me take a look at it. No one came. We were one of the few people that were Madden, oh, we got to play it now. So that was actually very surprising.
Yes. So now let's move on to number 9, which is that the parking situation at the convention center was not great. It was pretty terrible. And I think you'd agree with me on that one.
Yeah, definitely. The parking sucks. There's a lot of it, but it's not always close. And I think it's better just to kind of Uber it. So I didn't drive that much. I did more walking and taxi riding and getting driven around by
getting rides.
TD and Daniel. So parking wasn't that bad for me, but for other parties, yeah, you got to factor in the parking.
Okay, let's move on. 8 is closed doors games.
There were a lot of games that were not on the open floor, that were behind closed doors, and you had to actually have reservations or previously scheduled with the PR or developers to get to play them. And a lot of the VR stuff was like that, which unfortunately I did not know. And I was I want to play VR, and they were appointment only, sorry, which actually leads up to a hilarious Angry Joe story that I'm going to tell eventually.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Pro Evolution Soccer, when we walked in there first, they wouldn't let us go in until they had checked us off to make sure we were actually media and stuff. So there's a lot of
security. There were
there was a little guy standing there with his arms crossed, I had
a flashback to being in the club. Are you on the list, the DJ's list? So luckily we did have the connect on that one, so we're able to get in.
Yes. Okay, number 7, which kind of applies to me because I'm 1 year old enough to be able to go, is that under 17 is not admitted. So you will not see many young people there, at all.
No, not at all. Which you think, games are definitely grown up. And I don't know if in the past they did allow kids there, but as a kid, I always grew up thinking that I wanted to go as a kid, but probably I couldn't because, it's no teenagers allowed there. Only 18 teenagers.
Yeah, everyone was a lot of older people, I would say, which I was quite surprised about. I was expecting, because I would say I was one of the younger people there. Definitely in all the booths, I was usually the youngest. So
yeah, because it's not easy. Because they kind of closed it off. So unless you are part of a publication or a big time YouTuber or content creator, you're not going to get there. So it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to number 6, and that is that there are 2 totally separate sides to E3, which confused me the first day because I was at the one side and I had no idea there was another one.
Oh my God, this really freaked me out because I didn't know there was 2 separate halls to it. Because I had a scheduled appointment with, I believe it was PES actually, and I was all right, I'm at E3. I walk in the door at my first appointment of the day, and they were oh, you're in the wrong hall, and I'm what? This is not it. So you have to walk all the way. Either you can go stay inside and walk around and the scenic route, which takes much longer, but it's air conditioned, or you can walk across, go outside and go across, which is quicker, but it's outside and no AC. So yeah, I didn't know that there were 2 parts, but there are.
Yeah, I didn't either. It confused me day one. I spent almost the whole first day thinking that there was only one part to it. And yeah, it was, I think it definitely confused the newbies there.
So you actually spent a whole day figuring out something that I figured out in 5 minutes.
Yeah, but I didn't want to go anyway because I was staying at the EA one. I did not move the EA one. Okay,
Gotcha.
number 5 is that booth babes are not banned.
Yeah, they're not banned. They just have more clothes on. There's still women that are attractive women that are there just for the purpose of alluring you to their game or title or whoever they're working for. Notably, 2K Sports had girls that were just out there holding.
For 3 days, they were out there, just standing there, taking pictures and asking people to tweet out pictures with them with a hashtag something to do with 2K. I don't remember what the hashtag was.
It's be the game, I think. It's be the game.
Yeah, and that was all 2K brought. They didn't bring the game. They just brought those girls. That was.
So 2K didn't bring any gameplay, but they brought plenty of game.
Yeah, they did bring quite a bit of game. Number 4 is that awesome food trucks with incredibly long lines. Like we said.
Oh my god, the food trucks are so good. They all were good. They had, I'm kind of a foodie myself, and so I like eating all different kinds of food and stuff. They had like really cool like Korean trucks. They had really cool like barbecue. They had like some other like Mexican style. It was like I think maybe 4 or 5 food trucks, and there should have been more because the lines were incredibly long. Like the food truck lines were longer than the E3 lines, maybe.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you think, because how many people go to E3? What's the number? How many people were there this year? Do you know?
I don't know. I know they said it was some record announcement. I will have to look it up. But
so yeah, if you think all those people have to eat at some like, and they were overpriced too. Let's be honest, they were very overpriced. Some of the stuff.
we got a free meal in the media area, but I'm not a big cold sandwich and watered down lemonade guy, so I went for the food trucks.
Yes. Okay. Next, this is one thing that really surprised me because I thought I'd be able to go to all of them. E3 does not give you access to the individual conferences. So what you see on like what you guys saw on YouTube gaming and stuff, that's not E3. That's like the days before, and those are. Curtis knows quite a bit about how you get into those. It's not.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I didn't know that either. I found out right beforehand that I didn't realize that I thought you get into E3, you get access to the conferences when that's not the case. You have to get invites to each individual conference, and this is definitely something that newer channels or newer content creators have to figure out. You got to make those connects and get access because some are easier to get than others. Like, they say Microsoft is easier to get into, whereas Sony's is the hardest, which is shockingly that we got access to Sony, but didn't get one for Microsoft. So any Xbox, Microsoft guys listening, make sure we get that invite to your conference next year because we want to go. But Sony's was awesome. It was amazing, and I'll save more of that for our E3 stories coming later.
Yeah, and you have to be over 21 or 21 to go. I found out that the hard way.
Sorry, TD.
Yeah, it's okay. Number 2 is that the private events. I don't know much about this. This is another thing that you know a lot more about than I do.
Yeah, there's a lot of private events that go on during that week, not just during E3, but I mean before E3 and after E3, there are a ton of private events. There was one I actually got hooked up with by Gamer Fit Nation, shout out, where they hooked us up with one private dinner with Monster, the guys who make Monster cables, and it was really awesome. And I got to meet a bunch of really cool, influential people like Jonathan Fatality and the Monster Kids, which are awesome. Got some nice performances, and it was like really cool. It was at like Fleming's or some one upscale steakhouse, and I've heard of other private events that they had for like big YouTubers. They had different dinners, different things of that nature, all during a week. Just really cool private events that are invite only.
Yeah, is that the one me and Daniel didn't go to? Correct, that one.
Yeah, you missed out on that one.
Yeah, I think I that's one of my regrets is not going to that one. But
next year,
yeah, we'll get it done. Number 1 is the parties at E3. I didn't go to any, but did you go to one? I think you said you went to one.
I went to more than one.
You went to more than one?
Well, most of the times I was actually too tired. I got invited. A lot of them invite only. A lot of them you can sign up for online, and there's actually, I shouldn't even let this out, but I don't know if I'm letting this out. I think I'm going to keep this for the stories, the behind the scenes stories. But there's a sign up where it's actually like a listing of parties, and literally there are like 20 to 30 different parties that go down the week of E3. And I mean like parties like alcohol, like females, music, that like real parties. And it's really cool because you get to do a lot of networking there. And I was too tired. We missed a couple because my wife did come with me, but we missed a couple of them. But we did go to a couple other ones. They were cool. They had like free drinks, open bar, food, and we just hung out and talked. We didn't really meet too many people, but we met a couple of people. I met actually a couple of app developers, which are really cool people. And yeah, so the party scene, I never knew there was a huge party scene at E3. So next year, definitely, I'm looking to get on that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and I'd say one bonus one. It's tiring. My back's never hurt so much in my life. That's all I gotta say. You stand up a lot.
Yeah, it was definitely just as much work or more work than play. People kept saying, "Oh, how was your vacation?" And I was like, "That really wasn't a vacation at all for me.
Well,
That was like
I think for the
business."
attendees who like aren't there with affiliated with anything, I think it's a play. But like for us, we were doing quite a bit of running around and going to different places.
Yeah, we were working hard for you guys. You guys don't know we were working hard to get good content for our channels and our fans and viewers and for the site and everybody. So I think we got a good amount. I mean, we've done well since E3 and we got to meet a lot of cool developers. But yeah, man, it's hard work. It's not all fun and games.
And yeah, that pretty much wraps up this top 10 things you didn't know about E3. Hopefully you learned something new. If you did, let us know in the comments. And what's the next thing? We're going to be doing Untold Stories, so definitely stay tuned for that.
Yeah, we're gonna have a series of E3 Untold Stories because we each have little stories and things that happened that were pretty funny or pretty crazy or pretty embarrassing that we're gonna share with you guys.
Yeah, perfect. So thank you guys very much for watching, and we will see you guys next video.
Peace.